I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports Network and the host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. And you're watching Military Broadcast Radio's Turnbuckle and Stogies, a fun show that covers wrestling and cigar, and it works every Sunday at 11 a.m. Thank you for watching.
You going back in?
There's still men out there. God damn. When I go home, people ask me, "Hey, Hoot, why do you do it, man? Why? You some kind of war junkie?" I won't say a goddamn word. Why? They won't understand. They won't understand why we do it. They won't understand it's about the men next to you. And that's it. That's all it is.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Turnbuckles and Stogies. Yo, what is up? What is up? Yo, happy Sunday. Another Sunday with your favorite hostess with the mostest.
My dad, I'm doing a wrestling punch. I looked at her, I said, hey.
We are Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod, your hostess with the mostest, the big dog, the vanilla gorilla, and ladies and gentlemen, today, yo, y'all ready for this? Because I don't think they're ready for this, Joe.
I don't know. It might not be.
Yo, what is up? What is up? Happy Sunday. Happy fun day. Today, we have a very special guest on here at Turnbuckles and Stogies
You
Pod.
notice it's really late where we're filming.
It's really late, but we still keep going because we are the best podcast out there right now with Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod. I am one of the hosts, the big dog. That is the vanilla gorilla. And today, are they ready for this?
They might be. They
You
might
sure?
not be.
They might not be, right?
Who knows?
But today, I don't know if y'all can see this, but today we have Mr. Tony Barrios from Stallone Cigars. Let's see how Mr. Tony Barrios is doing today.
Hold on.
What happened?
He's frozen.
Oh,
So he's here, guys. He's frozen right now.
he's here. You just got to send him a message.
Send him a message. You have the thing. He's trying to fix it so we're full screen on his end, but he's frozen right now.
I heard the message for his buddy, not him. I sent him an email.
So, as you see, I have the hat. He has the shirt. When we reached out to Mr. Tony and his assistant, they sent us a nice care package with the beautiful ashtray,
Oh, wait.
this beautiful dual flame
I
lighter,
think he's back.
a
So.
cutter, a keychain, and some cigars. We've smoked a couple, still a few left. But I'm smoking the Habano, which is the I can't read that in the dark. But it's okay. Here he is.
Here he is.
There he
I'm
is.
sorry, guys.
No,
you're
it's fine,
good, you're
Tony.
good.
It's fine. So, Tony, How you doing tonight, my friend?
Fine, fine.
So
Very happy to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we're
And
happy
we
to have you.
appreciate you coming on.
So
We
where are you?
love some. We've smoked before you had sent us this nice little care package that
Thank you.
I was actually telling everybody about. I believe the only one we had up until this point was the Castaño.
And where do we get it?
We got that from Penny's.
From where?
From Fanatics.
Fanatics in Lodi, New Jersey.
And that I think was the only one we had. The only other place that had them was JB, which was Coke's place, but we never got any.
So
sorry,
Tony,
sorry guys, I'm gonna disconnect my earplugs because I cannot hear you guys good.
Can you hear us now?
We're working.
Can you hear us now?
Hold on. The mic's are live.
Yeah. Can you hear us now?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Okay. So, Tony, where are you located at exactly?
I'm in Forward, Texas.
Oh, okay. That's my old stomping ground. That's where I started my wrestling
Yeah.
career, in the sportatorium over there.
Yeah.
So, Tony,
we have the headquarters here.
So let me ask you this. So how did you come into the world of cigars, and how did you come up with the name Stallone?
Well, I'm third generation tobacco growers in my family. My grandfather from mother's side, he was Italian and he started growing tobacco for Toscano cigars, back in the early 40s. And then after Second World War, he lost everything. They had tobacco and olive oil fields. And my mother was born right after the war, and then they moved to South America, to Venezuela, where I was born. So my grandpa continued to grow in tobacco. He started again from scratch in Venezuela.
Okay.
And I kind of inherited his passion for tobacco and horses. Actually, the very first horse he gave me was a birthday present. My 7-year-old birthday present was a horse. It was a kind of demon horse. It wasn't untamable. And I was really sad because I couldn't ride the horse. As a little kid, I thought every weekend I can go and ride the horse. And he got tired of telling me the horses, I'm training, I have to wait, until the training get that horse ready for you. So long story short, I get mad at that one day, and then he saw me at the tractor, along the tobacco fields.
Right.
And then, he used to speak like Italian with Spanish word, mix it up. And then he told me like, hey, I made a mistake. I gave you a Stallone. And I didn't understand Italian, so I asked him what Stallone means. He said, Stallone is a stallion, a horse with the balls. They're angry. They're hard to tame, hard to ride. But I promise you one day you're going to ride a lot of Stallones in your life, and you're going to be good at it. So that idea just kept in my head. And then, at my first cigar, when I was 15 years old, he called me. It was a Wednesday. I used to go to a tobacco farm with him, from Friday afternoon all the way until Sunday very late. I spent the weekend with him at the farm, and when I have vacation, I kind of spend every day with him, riding horses between tobacco crops. So at the age of 15, he pulled a table and he started rolling a cigar. He gave it to me, and I saw, because he always rolled his cigars. and I sold the cigar. Like, that's beautiful. I give it back, and they say, "Oh, it's for you." And I say, "I cannot smoke." On the other side, my father, he's not a cigar guy, and he's a kind of very healthy. Like he don't drink, he don't smoke, he just runs, he keeps healthy. So he was kind of very kind of military training. Like, hey, if you drink alcohol, you smoke, beat your ass. So I told my grandpa, if I smell like smoke, my father will kill me. And he say, "What are you talking? I'm the boss of the family. You do what I say to do." And he's under my. So he lighted that cigar for me, gave it to me, and I started puffing like, "Hey, you don't do that. You start slow." Okay. So when I was like an inch in, I started sweating purple and feeling dizzy, and and I told him,
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't feel very well, Grandpa. I think I need to quit. And he said, "Now you're becoming a man." The long story short, he told me that day that his dream was he having a cigar company, a cigar brand one day. Um, and he passed away 3 months after that. So the real story behind it, he wants to watch me to light my first cigar with him. He didn't want to tell me he was sick because we were so close together. So he didn't want to make me sad or nothing. But that's the story behind the brand.
Oh,
And the name.
okay. So right now I'm smoking the.
So I guess what are you? Because right now I'm smoking the Habano version.
And I'm smoking the Zano, the broadleaf.
The Sino broadleaf, yeah.
Yes, and he's smoking the.
The
The
Habano.
Habano,
I can't
the
pronounce
blue
the name.
Alasan.
Alasan.
Allison.
Okay.
All
So
the names of the cigars are the name of the color of the horse skin in Spanish. For example, the
okay.
Allison means the sorrel horse. The Sino
So
means like a dark brown horse.
And then you have the Castaño,
Yeah, the Castaño is a bay horse.
and then
then you have the Mustang.
The Mustang is kind of wild horses. They are different breed of horses.
and then you have the Connecticut one that's here.
And I smoked
Palomino.
Yes.
yeah, and the first one I smoked from
Was the Castaño.
was the Castano, yeah. And then
Oh no, actually
no, that wasn't it. I took a picture.
I did too.
So Tony, let me ask you this. So how many shops are you in the US?
We're currently at 350 something, almost 360, brick and mortars across 35 states. And we are in a small catalog, like for example, small batch, pre-roll cigar club. We're very brick and mortar protected. So I don't have in my plans, not now, to go to the big internet catalog, until I have a great foundation of brick and mortars, so I can, I don't want to rely or ended up working for those guys. You know how it works.
Right.
They write a big check to you, that they drop your price down on the internet, that nobody wants to buy the cigar, and they end up destroying your brand and make you an employee.
And to kind of go off of that, now when a brick and mortar orders from you, do they have to buy a certain amount of facings, or can they buy one box, two boxes? Do they have to buy the whole line, one each size? How does that work?
No, regularly, when a brick and mortar wants to open an account with us, the first thing that we explore is, the team that is there. If the sales team and people is willing to support us in the same way we support them. What do I want to say? If a store called me and they want to put cigars in, but they're gonna put it in the corner or in the floor, I'm not interested in opening that account. You know what I mean? I'm kind of picky because that's in short, no, in medium term, that's gonna be the most effective. Is gonna be my brand. You know,
Okay, so
because
now,
Mhm.
so let me ask you this. So I'm working on my license with New York, obviously. And,
Yeah.
so, you know, we want to try to, because we support like you, BAMF, Don Bogan Cigars. We do like a lot of boutique companies. And I say boutique because, you know, you guys aren't like Fuente and all them guys, but so
Yeah,
let's
no,
say,
of course. We're
so
small
let's say,
companies.
let's say if once I get my license and I come to you and I say, Tony, listen, with our podcast, we're going to open our own store like online. How would that work with guys like us? Do we have to buy a certain amount? How does that work?
No, listen. What I try to do is I try to put the cigars in your shop that's gonna work for you. Let's say you don't know yet because you're open the door, right? But
Right.
you're gonna know sooner than later what kind of store you want. If you sell more like heavy stuff or lighter stuff, or you have a lot of regular medium body people. So I don't want to flood you a product that you cannot sell quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
basically, depending on your location and on your thoughts, you let me know. Hey, I think this is going to work and this is going to work, and I help you make a selection. But you don't have to buy a certain amount of quantity. As long as you have your tobacco license, everything
Right.
going good. Like I told you, I care more about the relationship, like a friendship first, and then it's the business, than looking the stores that merely target my product there. Because that doesn't build the brand.
Okay.
So I have to make sure you do great with my products, right? And once you have, let's say, 2-3 lines, you start, and then you can expand to try another lines, and then you grow up with your clients.
Right.
Salones there. The good thing is we have one option for every different palette.
Okay. So on that note, Mr. Tony, we're going to take a 5-minute break and we'll be right back with Tony Barrios from Stallone Cigars.
He sits on his bed with his gun in his hand. He thinks his life is over, he can't understand. A bottle of whiskey and some pills in the drawer. He doesn't wanna hurt himself or hurt anymore. Why must it be this way? Just think it all over and listen to the words I say. You are not alone. There are so many people who fight with their demons each day. 'Cause you are not alone. So take my hand, brother, let's beat this together today. You're not alone. She picks up the clothes that fall loose on the floor. She finds a crumpled letter just behind the door. Begins to read it with tears in her eyes. A horrible feeling takes over inside. Says, honey, can talk to you. There has to be something that we can do. You are not alone. There are so many people who fight with their demons each day. 'Cause you are not alone. So take my hand, baby, let's be this together today. You're not alone. You're not alone. 'Cause you are not alone. There are millions of people who fight with their demons each day. Yeah. And you are not alone. So take my hand, son, let's beat this together today. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. Sits on his bed with his gun in his hand. He puts it away, 'cause now he understands.
Hello, and we're back. Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod. I am the big dog. That is Vanilla Gorilla. And we are here with Stallone Cigars CEO, Mr. Tony Barrios.
So let's kind of get into what we're all smoking now, since we've kind of touched on a little bit of everything. So what are you smoking right now?
I'm smoking the light. It's
Okay.
6.5 by 60 shaggy.
Oh, I don't
It's a
have
Nicaraguan
that.
puro,
I have
but has the wrapper. It's a Connecticut broadleaf seed planted in Nicaragua.
Wow.
And I'm smoking the
Zeno.
Zeno.
Yeah, the Zino is a broadleaf wrapper from Connecticut. It's not broadleaf from Pennsylvania. Enough. It's a little more, of course, on the sweeter spot, a little bit more like coffee.
Very good.
Dry cocoa. And that cigar has 3 hits and 2 visos from Nicaragua.
See, and
I'm smoking the Alisan Habano, but I had actually didn't realize that I had already smoked this, which is the red version that I smoked, which is the Corojo.
and that you got a case.
That's the one. No, that's the one I smoked out of the.
Oh, you smoked
the
out of
pack
a
that
5-pack. So the first time we ever heard of you, we went to Fanatics.
No, I had heard of him before that.
Right, but the first time we've ever smoked your cigars
Yes.
was at Fanatics in Lodi, New Jersey. Kenny, you know, the guy that has Kenny has changed, and Tony, you can agree with me. Kenny has changed the world of cigars for brick and mortars. Yeah. He has done
a great job.
He has done even a professor, AJ Fernandez, said he has changed the world of cigars for brick and mortars. This guy has done so much that people travel from. We were sitting there one night and there was somebody from Texas
that
Well, there
came up
was- and
just
then-
to see,
Then he
just to
had
meet
people
Kenny.
drive down like 6 or 8 hours from Canada, come down. You know, and that was the first time I had ever come across your cigars, but I had heard of your cigars, and he had heard of your cigars through our boys over in the Wolfpack Cigar Club.
And not only that,
Mosley and Albert and Rodell and all those guys. That's how we had heard about it.
and not only that, I like your labels, so I'm a label guy. So if I like the label,
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
the
that's
cigar
another
might be
thing.
there.
And that's another thing that a lot of people go for as well. And I know this, Tony, is everybody a lot of times only grabs labels. They don't even know anything about the cigar. They don't read it. They just, that label looks cool, I'll grab that. You know, and your labels are eye-catching because of the horse that's on it. You know, like people will walk through and go, oh, wow, that looks cool. And you know, let me grab that.
You know a fun fact?
What's that?
Fun fact. You know, it's kind of contradictory and weird, but in the state, the people like, you know, like 3 or 4% of the people that doesn't like my band doesn't like because the horse are more in Texas.
Listen, so
It's weird.
I lived in Texas with my brother. My brother was in the service. So I lived with my brother in Fort Hood, Texas. Okay. And I used to, like I said to you, that's where I started my wrestling career. That's where I started smoking cigars. So, you know, it's funny because when people come on and they, like you said Fort Worth, and I'm like, wow, now where the old Sportatorium used to be is now a Target. You know what I mean? So I'm like, wow, it's amazing that the cigar world is so big, but yet so small. And, you know, so, you know, the things I tell, like, let me ask you this. Are you going to PCA next year?
Yes, I'm going.
Okay, so we are coming too. We are coming with
So
Ish.
you're more than welcome.
Yeah, we're going to come with
stop at the
Ish.
booth, you know, share with me, you know, time, coffee, cigars.
Absolutely.
You know, more than welcome.
Absolutely. So
and we appreciate the offer for letting us come hang out and say hello. And you know, we do a lot with a lot of the people in the boutique industry, and you know, we've met Ish. We've had the pleasure of meeting Ish in person.
Oh my goodness, he's a riot.
Alan from Family by Loyalty. We've met actually Rick Rodriguez, who owns West Tampa, who's a very good friend of ours. You know, so we like doing these interviews, and then
knowledge guy.
He's the best, and he's so humble, and it's
so we met Alan, you know, back when COVID hit, and you can only do like Zooms and all of that, Instagram. So we met Alan through Instagram. So then when I retired out of wrestling 20 years ago. So I had a buddy of mine, he said, listen, I'm booking you and your son for a tag team. I said, bro, I retired. He goes, no, you didn't hear what I said. You and your son are booked, that's it. I said, okay. So we told Alan, and Alan was doing, because Alan's from New York, so he was in Long Island. He made it.
He was in the boroughs doing an event because he was up here. He was up on vacation, but he made it kind of like a work trip. He was going to shops trying to get his stuff in.
So he made it from Long Island to New Jersey right before our match came on. And when he got
right as it started, literally we were standing on the ring apron, and as I looked over to where they were taking the tickets, him, his wife, his partner, and his partner's wife were all walking in the door at the booth. So he made it from all the way down in the city and out on Long Island, all the way out to the shore, to Jersey Shore for the show. But that, you know, that showed us that he really is a true friend and wanted to come meet us and hang out with us because he made sure he made it as just in time.
It's like if I get booked in Texas, I'll hit you up and be like, hey Tony, listen, I'm gonna be in Austin, Texas wrestling. If you want to come, I got you. Of course you're gonna come because, you know, we met just today, And yes, ladies
Yep.
and gentlemen, I just met Mr. Barrios today. So, so it's funny because people don't realize that the brothers of the leaf, sisters of the leaf, it's all about this. If you're a true cigar smoker, if you're a true cigar smoker, and we've met so many people, Tony,
And
that
this podcast has now gave us I guess, made us fortunate enough to meet, and have sit-down interviews with you and Michael Giannini and Ish and I mean Sanj Patel. Like our list of people we've had on is just
let me ask
so
you
many
this.
in the last year. It's hard to remember all
So
of it.
we only been doing this a year. Do you know Matty Rocks?
Matty what?
Matty Rocks.
Rocks?
Yeah, he's always at PCA with Drew Estate. He always has on the fly suits, like
He
the
always
money
has on
suit.
some crazy looking
Yeah, I
suit.
know who he is. Yeah.
So
Yes.
actually, Matty is a good friend of ours. That's my brother. We're gonna see him on Sunday. And when I told him that we're having you on, he goes, "See, brother, I told you. Just keep going." So Tony, we have not had a day off. We've started this a year ago. We have not had a day off until the day after Barn
No, and
Smoker.
we even still technically didn't have a day
Right.
off because we put out an interview.
Right. So we put out an interview. So we've been doing this for a year without a Sunday off. My wife said to me, she goes, "Are you guys gonna take a Sunday off?" So Joey's like, "Dad, if they can't make it on a Sunday, we'll just drop because he's the producer."
That's what it is. And we've gotten to the point now, and I was on the HERF for the TPA that Ish and Ronnie from the Great Lakes Smoke Show and all those guys had started. And
well, you got to explain to him what that is.
We talked about that last night of, those guys on the Great Lakes Smoke Show had to go to 2 shows a week because they had so many people that wanted to come on.
So you got to explain to him what the TPA is.
It's like now I'm going to record interviews because, and this every once in a while, you need that little, week or 2 off in a row and just kind of regenerate and then come back the next week and start stronger.
So I don't know if you heard of the TPA. It's Ish, the Great Lakes, I think OGT.
GTO cigars.
GTO, and who else?
The Chief Cigars.
And the Chief Cigars. Finish explaining because you was on a HERF for them.
It's a lot to kind of explain.
Well,
but basically what their big thing is helping the smaller brands.
Mm-hmm.
So they're there to help you as a smaller brand and for like media like us to join. And if you're looking to promote a product, you can go on their website to their directory and say, oh, okay, you have turnbuckles and stogies, you have this one, and you click their link and it'll bring you directly to their social media, their website, whatever the case is, and then you can contact them through there. So it's kind of a way for
you to get
the media to be able to interact with the brands and the brands to be able to go down a list and say, hey, we're releasing this new cigar. Let's make the press rounds, and then there's a list of all your media personalities that you can reach out to and kind of connect with in scheduled dates. So it's good for the media. It's good for the brands. And then it also allows consumers to be a part of it as well.
So it's like
which is a big thing.
It's like when New Orleans, when PCA said they were going to New Orleans, and nobody knew if you could smoke there. So what it is?
Well, no,
hold on.
They hadn't done it yet.
Right.
They didn't pull the trigger. They were looking at renting a building.
They were looking to rent the building, but the only way you can go smoke in that building is if you were part of TPA,
which is different from TPE and PCA. They kind of started it on their own.
It is. So Tony,
I just told them.
Yeah, if you join, basically it's like you can give like 10% off to all the members.
If you have your own online store.
If you have your own online store, 15% off. And like it said, they can give you 99.9% off.
Whatever.
He goes, whatever the consumer wants to give you.
It's who, you know, if you're working with them and you work with this one, and, you know, this guy might give 10, you might give 15, you might give, you know, this guy might give 20. It's just a way for the consumers to be able to try new brands, as well as get a little bit of a benefit from it with a discount just for being a member, you know. And then if you do an event, you might get a discount at you know, his event for being a member, so you might get another 10% off, or you might get 2 free cigars. You know, he said it's a matter of whatever you want to do.
So now, when you do live events, right? So do you show up, or do you have your reps show up?
No, regularly, I'm in 95% of the event myself.
And do you have a roller come with you and roll them right there, or, you know?
Depends, you know. I've made rolling events, but I have to set up at least, you know, 5 or 6 rolling events,
right?
You know, to bring the rollers and travel with me. So when I have a circuit of events, I try to, you know, bring my rollers and do a rolling event.
And, you know, that's how we met Ish, because we've always talked to Ish on Instagram, right? So we set up a date like we did with you. And I said, Ish, you want to come on the show? He goes, yeah, Sunday's fine. He calls me up on a Wednesday. He goes, oh, by the way, I'm only going to be an hour and a half from your house. I'll see you on Friday night. I said, huh? He goes, I'll see you on Friday night. I said, Ish, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm going to be at JB Cigar Lounge in Toms River. I said, okay. He goes, and you know what? What's the best way to start the new year with somebody rolling cigars live on your show? So we met him on Friday. We met him on Friday. And we met him Saturday. I'm sorry, we met him Saturday night. So Saturday night we're standing there rolling cigars, whatever. So Sunday morning he comes in. Now I'm sitting there, I got a beer. He goes, so where's my coffee? I said, the coffee machine's there. He goes, no, the one that you're drinking. I said, you don't want what I'm drinking. He takes his cup, he pours it on the floor. Good thing we know the owner. He pours it on the floor. He goes, I want what you're drinking. And now we're on live. And Oscar's sitting in the back, and Oscar's like this. Oscar's just sitting there shaking his head. I'm like, you know, and we got to give a shout out to Ish, because once the Northeast Streaming Network,
right, and they picked us up. They didn't pick us up for that episode. They didn't pick us up from that.
No, they picked us up for Derek Dukes.
They picked us up for our New Year's and Christmas Eve and New Year's Day episode of our podcast is what got us picked up, Tony, for our sports network.
Our podcast is basically wrestling and cigars. So we talk about Lucha Libre. Yep. So, you know, we do a lot. So, you know, and I have a lot of friends in the business. So, you know, so when we met Ish, it was so funny. And I would love to meet you in person, because you seem so cool. Yeah. Like, you're laid back, you're rocking.
And if you guys, you know, haven't planned, you know, coming for Texas or, you know, whatever, you guys have to home here, you know.
My brother lives in Austin.
Oh, great. My sister lives in Austin, as well as my mom.
Oh, well, listen.
So we're planning a trip out there at some point.
Because I got to go to Austin. I got to see my brother. I haven't seen my brother in about 25 years. So
it'll be another 25 before you see him.
Well, and it's nothing wrong with that, because he was my best man at my wedding. But then, you know, my mom died, my brother died, my aunt died, his mother died.
Yeah, but it'll be 25 more years before you see him.
You know, so I always mess with him. I'm like, bro, my niece, I said, your niece and your nephews are going to graduate college, get married, have grandkids, and you're still not going to come up. He goes, nah, I'm working my way up there. So I called up his father. I said, Dad, I said, Frank still hasn't come to see the kids. He goes, yeah, well, he'll see them eventually. I said, when? He goes, probably when he's walking around with a cane.
So now let me ask you this, Tony, and I've asked this question to quite a few different blenders and cigar manufacturers and brand owners, your cigars now, is a 60 ring something you prefer to blend or make, or do you make it because you know there's a market for it?
No, I regularly, I have hundreds of blends, because blending is my passion, right? Whenever I have free time or when I go to factory, I always, do more blends. And more. This is my passion, right? I like to experiment, think outside the box, create new flavors, kind of what drives me.
Right.
So when I'm gonna release a new project, I always get inspired by something, and from inspiration, whether I choose a blend that I really did that I think it fits that particular project, or I do a brand new blend from scratch, right?
Right.
And I always try to think in a different clientele, a different sector of consumers when I release a product. Why? Because I don't want to be releasing the same type of cigar, the same type of flavor, over and over again.
Right.
That way, the brand loses an array of varieties, and flavors, even in price ranges. We have budget-friendly premium cigars like the Mustang. It's a long filler. It's a great sweet cigar. It's a very low strength, like let's say uh, slow to medium, more in the slow range, but it's
Okay.
full flavor. Because when I blend a cigar, I try to focus mainly on flavor. Obviously, flavor and aroma goes together. Combustion, construction,
Right.
complexity. There's a lot of things to take into the cake, right? When you cook a new project, but I always think in in that particular niche of customers when I'm releasing a new product. I don't release product like because I just like the cigar and put it there, right?
Right.
It had to be, a lot of things going on for me to take the decision and do the new product.
Right. You're
An
not
inspiration.
just cranking out product
Well,
for the sake of cranking out product.
that was my
You're
next
taking
question.
the time to, release it as it's, like you said, as it's needed, or as you feel that it's ready to go and be put out with a band and boxed and
So
cellophane.
that was my next question. So a lot of boutique cigar people, when they make their cigar, they say, I make it for me. Where I think, you know what, you can make it for you, but you have to also remember he doesn't have the same palate as me. I don't have the same palate as you. This one don't have the same. So how do you go about like making it so that the consumer enjoys the cigar?
Well, that has to that's closely related with the experience that I have in tobacco world, uh, because when I create this brand, I didn't think as a cigar maker or as a tobacco guy. I think as a customer, what do I want to get from a cigar? Because I've been
Right.
buying cigars and smoking all the brands out there for all my life. I spent, many $1,000s smoking from $1 cigar all the way to $500 cigars or more, just to have an experience and a solid opinion in my background of tobacco and comparing, quality price relationship, which is one of my main goals in this brand. So when I was creating my first Cowboy series, which is the first collection of cigars I released to the market, I make sure I have 6 different options from
Wow.
very different palettes. And what I did, I took my time, giving samples to many people around the world. You know, Europe, South America, here in United States. You know, I have a lot of people that I trust their palette. Obviously, you know, I chose brands that I think that were best representation of that cigar. And I know, for example, that a Connecticut smoker is not looking for a super bomb cigar, you know. It's looking for that creaminess, for that sweetness, for that, you know, kind of flavors, right? Because I can make a Connecticut, I do a Connecticut for myself, which is a super bomb with a Connecticut wrapper, you know, and then I enjoy it sometimes. But, you know, mostly in time when I reach a Connecticut wrapper, I want that creaminess, that kind of coffee, coffee with mint taste, you know, like almonds, you know, that kind of flavors that us, you know, are the common flavor that people look for in those particular wrapper. Because unfortunately, the people look for cigars and they judge it by the wrapper. You know, it's you know, most of people make the mistake when they see a very dark cigar, they get a strong cigar, and it has nothing to do. You know, you can have a very dark cigar, it can be mild, right? It depends on how you know the blend is inside, you know, the fillers, and even the binders are very important how the cigar develops. So I don't know if that answers your question.
So let me ask you this. So we've done like we said, we've done a lot of interviews. So if you have a leaf that is aged 15 years, and then you have a leaf that is aged 5
So
years.
I think what you're getting at is
what is the difference?
Is there a difference in using a leaf? Like he said, I think the question he's trying to ask is, do the cigars taste better the more that the leaves are aged that are used in them, or is that just kind of not a myth, but like, you know, something that doesn't
That's
actually
a
affect it?
very interesting question that I get asked a lot, and I'm glad you guys asked it. The tobacco has an aging curve. It's not like the distillate, right? The people try to confuse like a 20-year-old, obviously it's better because they're aging in cask. You know, it's a different game. But in the tobacco leaves, they all the flavors and the aromas are in the oils that have the leaf, right? So depend on the strength, on the type of leaf. Some tobaccos has to be aged, in my opinion. For example, Nicaragua being a very complex and strong flavors, you know, I aged those ligeros for 5 years, right? Some secos I aged only for 3 years because if you overage tobacco leaf, let's say 20 years, 30 years, that's not gonna taste, you know, that's gonna taste air.
Right.
And I don't say it because I you know I think I know everything. No, it's because I have experience.
I was
I've
just going to
done
say
many experiments
you're not saying
since I
it
was
just to
young.
say
You know,
it.
I have
You have the experience to back up that statement
yeah,
of the, you
exactly,
know, yes.
exactly. I have 40-year-old age tobacco in Venezuela,
Wow.
and I have 25-year-old cigars age. And when I try them, you know, all those great flavors are gone. It's just smoking kind of the memory. You know, some cigars are special
Right.
because one of the last provided by my grandfather. Maybe I'm not gonna smoke,
Right.
or you know, but they don't take it because the tobacco has a curve. You know, for me,
Right.
for like an example, and if you're dealing with tobacco, which is not as strong as Nicaragua. Let's say you're dealing with Dominican or you know different countries tobacco that are not as potent as Nicaragua. If you age them like 6, 7, 8 years, they might taste good, but they're gonna
Right.
be a little bit kind of emptiness, right? So that's a very important question because in cigars, you know, extra aging. When I talk extra aging, like 10 years and above, it's not really. It's a misconception, and there's a lot of people in Europe that they're crazy about aging cigars. There's many famous
Right.
people that are YouTubers recognized it. They open like 30 or more boxes. Even I have smoked Precastro cigars, 60-year-old cigar. And when I lighted them up, it was only air,
Right.
you know.
No, and I've that's a question that I've asked kind of everybody that has done like that is in your shoes as far as like the guys who have been around the industry for so long that have been in the factories that have rolled their cigars that have blend their own stuff because that's a question we get asked all the time. People come to us and they're like, hey, you guys know a lot about cigars. What is the difference in aging tobacco for, and we get, well, what's the difference in 5 year and 10 year? I'm like, I'm gonna say the flavor changes. I said depending on the tobacco. Like I have learned because I did work on the industry side of things and the manufacturer side for about a year or so for a company, and
Yeah.
that was a lot of questions I had asked because it was stuff I wanted to know. Now I guess the next question I have, and then we'll take a quick break, would be what is, and I know it goes, it's a different time frame for different tobaccos, but I've come to find out from a lot of people, and I've tasted it myself, is when the tobacco, I guess they say, is too young, it's more like acidic. Now, what would be too young for the tobacco? Is there like a certain like curve that is still too young before it hits its peak? Is it,
Well, that's a very interesting question because there's a lot of people that use what I call young tobacco. Young tobacco is a tobacco that has not been properly fermented or has not been aged.
right,
So for a tobacco that to get rid of all of the ammonia and
right,
all the acidic flavor, that bitterness sometimes some tobacco has to have a complete slow fermentation process, not rush. And after that, they have to be aged, right? Depending on the soil, depending on the seed, everything varies. But when you taste a cigar and you have that bitterness, that acidic, uh, extra acidic flavors, or any unpleasant flavor, that is young tobacco, not fermented properly. Because you can you cannot shortcut, in the cigars.
right,
If you do a slow fermentation process, then you put that to aging, there's some flavor that are gonna show up because all the ammonia has not get rid in the pillow in the fermentation process. So it's very important to do every step, the best can. And the other thing is you cannot ferment a ligero the same time you ferment a seco
right.
because the ligero is a thicker leaf. They need more time, more
Yes,
temperature than the pillow, right? So it varies, depends on them. Those bad flavors are coming from what I call young tobacco.
and now it varies. Now, like you said, it varies. Would that be like, I don't want to say months, but maybe like sometimes they need a year, 2 years to, like you said, to fully get through that slow fermentation and before it's ready to go. So now, with that being said, I guess the next question I would have would be to, do you test them throughout that process out of the pilon,
Yes,
or
yes,
okay,
of course. Yeah,
okay,
in the fermentation process, you got the pillow, right? and you put some moisture, and when you pile the tobacco, all the pressure and the moisture start building up heat, right? And from that heat, the tobacco starts the fermentation process. You gotta keep control of the heat in certain range of temperature depending on the cut, right? Depending on if
Right.
it's a low VSO, upper VSO, or ligero, if it's seco, right? So different temperatures for different type of tobacco. So when you have a pilon, that pilon has to be rotated. Usually every 3 or 4 days, you have to rotate that pilon, right? Because if not, the temperature rises up and the tobacco get cooked and you lose
Right.
the tobacco. So I usually like to try, for example, the ligeros. I like to try them every 3 months and see how they're doing, how they're performing. When in the secos, I like to try them every month and a half or so.
Okay.
The wrappers depends on the wrapper. Yeah, for example, the broadleaf wrapper is the one that takes more time in the fermentation process. A broadleaf is this thick, it's like a
I was
leather,
gonna say it's a very thick
and
wrapper, just like a
thick
ligero.
that tobacco needs at least 18 months, up,
Wow.
sometimes up to 20 months. Depends on the type of tobacco in the fermentation process. There's people that rush the fermentation process high in the temperatures, and you get the tobacco cooked, right? And you
Yeah.
get those beautiful colors you see, but you're killing all the oils, all the aroma,
Right.
all the good that is in the tobacco leaf.
Okay. That's those are good things to know, and those are questions that we get asked because people know we're friends with a lot of the people in the industry that have their own factories and stuff like that. And me having worked on the manufacturer side, they go, "Oh, well, you should know this." I'm like, "Yeah, but I never made it to the factory." That was the thing, is I never made it down to the factories. I said, so, I said, I don't know these answers. I said, because I've never made it to the factories, which is our next step, is to go down and visit in the DR. A lot of our friends who have factories, that's our next step, is to go see it in person, and be
Yep,
able to
and
learn
you're
all
more
this
than
stuff.
welcome whenever you want to visit the factory in Italy. More than welcome. We can take you to the crops. We can take you to the fermentation process and explain you in full detail with
Okay.
different examples, different kind of beef wrappers, Habano wrappers. We try the wrappers in the fermentation process, and I can make you taste what is a tobacco leaf that is looking good but it's not ready, and
Right.
I can make you taste a tobacco leaf that is looking good but is almost ready. So
Right.
those knowledge you guys will get very
And
handy once you
that's our
go
plan, is
and
to be able to
visit down to the factory.
visit your factory and some of the other factories, and just go learn this knowledge, like you said, because it's, as a consumer, it's knowledge that not everyone has. But as I feel, as a consumer, it's something, if you can get it, if you can get that knowledge and visit the factories, I think it's a great idea, because
Yep,
that's more
yep.
that
And
now. So we're
as
gonna
more
take it.
education,
Right.
we give to the people, to the consumers, we get a better industry.
Right.
Why? Because like I told you before, I smoke old cigars out there in the market, and sometimes I feel like I'm overpaying for the tobacco quality I'm getting. And sometimes I feel like I'm underpaying for the quality of that tobacco that is in there, right? So
Right.
one of my goals is the people to feel that they are getting more than they paying for. And the only way to do that is doing things good, with time, proper fermentation, proper aging, and all this construction, good blend, balance, uh, the presentation always, is what the customer is going to decide in the human, right away. But after that experience, if the person that is trying that cigar really like to smoke, he's gonna dig into the flavor. and he's gonna know I don't like this cigar or whether like if that person doesn't have a knowledge, they just smoke the famous band, they get stick with it, you know. So, but there's a lot of great options in the market from boutique companies. Actually, some of the big brands have embraced that term lately. Like, you know, this is a boutique piece, you know, because uh, some of or a small company like us, uh, we do care about quality. We do care about because we're going to be judged by one cigar. No
Correct.
matter if you're a broadleaf guy, and then you try to Palomino, maybe you're gonna say, I don't like this brand, but that's not your type of cigar.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick 3-minute break and then we'll be right back.
Great.
Attention, all troops. Are you ready to stay connected with the latest news, entertainment, and information tailored for our armed services? Look no further than MBR.
Here at MBR, we're more than just a radio station. We're a lifeline for those who serve from the front lines to the home front. We're here to keep you informed, entertained, and connected to your fellow veterans.
With our dedicated team of broadcasters, we bring exclusive interviews with military leaders, insights into the latest strategies and technologies, and uplifting stories of bravery and sacrifice.
But that's not all. MBR is a nonprofit organization, meaning that every dollar you donate goes directly towards supporting our troops and their families, whether it's providing care packages, funding, scholarships, or offering mental health resources. Your support makes a difference.
With that, H-Train, can you tell me a little bit about how MBR got started?
Well, in 2005, Jim Butler created it so that he could keep contacts with all of his pals over in Iraq. And then when 2018 came, he decided that it was time for him to retire. He was going to close up the station. And because we've had so many former DJs since 2005, I mean, it was pretty inspiring. We have at least 5 veterans in every single state, at least. And, you know, it just brings us closer together. It creates a family, and it creates a family that we lost when we got back from Iraq. And
Mind you that every show is manned by a veteran or a first responder. That's amazing. I love what MBR is doing here. I love being a DJ here as well. Talk to people who have been through situations similar to yours. You're not alone. That's what we do here on MBR.
Yep. And it's nice because if you're not having a radio day and you're just having a bad day,
or you don't have a face for radio, we just want to remind you that every show is manned by a veteran or a first responder. So if you've ever had a dog tag, you could be possibly on the show or create your own, as well as military dependents. Together, we'll stay strong. We stay informed. We stay connected. So visit our website and download our app today, MBR.
MBR, serving those who served while giving veterans a voice.
First heard of MBR through my classmate Cedric. We were going to school in Colorado Media School, and we'd worked on some projects there together, including making a podcast. And he told me he was interning here at the station and that they would give us a shot to put our show on the air.
But it's a really rewarding feeling just to come back and learn radio, learn a trade for myself, and help people out at the same time.
Brandon Stokely here, and I want to encourage every single one of y'all to keep grinding, keep fighting, keep practicing, keep getting those reps in, because that's what's important, right? Keep building, laying down that foundation, and keep working at it, keep practicing. No matter what the results you see right now, it doesn't matter what's going on right now. Look towards the future, and that's what it's all about. So keep working hard, keep practicing, keep getting those reps, and that's what's most important right now. So keep up the good work. Best of luck.
Just about the fermentation stuff.
And hello, we are back, guys. Sunday Fun Day. Your host, Turnbuckles and Stogies, the Big Dog, the Vanilla Gorilla, and the CEO of Stallone's Cigars, Mr. Tony Barrios. We love having you on. It has been such an education that, man, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to tell you right now, this cigar that I'm smoking is off the rack. So let me ask you this. Are you in Cigar World in New Jersey?
Cigar World, I think I am. I'm not sure. I don't have all the accounts here in my brain right now. I have to search.
We've overwhelmed her a little bit, not in a bad way, but she's always looking to bring new stuff in. And because we do know a lot of people and we do smoke a lot of the boutique brands.
And we just started. We did 2 shows over there, right?
Like you touched on with the, just because of the quality and the construction of it, and we like the boutique brands because of that. So we've tried to help her kind of broaden her humidor, but because we have so many people, it's hard to, give her this and you got to kind of, try this.
You know what, Tony? Every time we go there, we open our humidor and be like, I'll say, hey, listen, try this one from so and so. Joey turn around and say, oh yeah, I got this one from so and so.
That's where we have to.
That's where I gotta chill out.
You don't get a lot of shops that are receptive to bringing in new brands. Where she is, so we try not to overwhelm her.
Her first question is, how many boxes do I gotta buy? Because with Drew Estate, you gotta buy like 100 boxes. Fuente, you gotta buy 50 boxes. You know what I mean? Blanco, you gotta buy all these boxes.
But even still,
have it. It's not the case. Like I said before, I always try to feed the customer needs, right? It doesn't matter if it's 2, 3 boxes, as long as you have a tobacco license, right? Because I protect the brick and mortar, so I don't sell cigars. We don't sell cigars ourselves. We don't sell them online, never. We direct the customers to the stores that are our customers, because we don't do that. We're never gonna do that. Like, for example, some of the big brands start selling their cigars online. That pissed off a lot of customers that have to buy 300 bucks and spend large quantity of money to be able to have the brand, and then anyone can go online and buy it straight from them. That's not fair.
And Tony, the funny thing is, like, if you buy a cigar online, then you go to the store, the cigar online tastes different than the cigar on in the store.
And I think that's a matter of perception, because a lot of the stuff you buy online is the same as 99% of it is the same as the store. There are certain brands that only sell certain blends online and certain blends to the store, but that's a whole different story for a whole different.
Actually, that's a pretty interesting question, because behind the scenes in the real world cigar business, there's a lot of things that goes on. For example, one case could be that cigar travel without proper humidification too long, and then when it arrives to your hands, it can taste different, a little different. The other case, which I know, some big brands, when they have a load of cigar that didn't make exactly the way through, because they have so much demand that they cannot keep up with the supply. Sometimes they sell those cigars to the So there's a lot of factors that can be involved in what you say.
Right.
So now let me ask you this: Do you? A lot of people, and Joey will vouch for this. A lot of people say they own their own factory. Do you have your own Stallone factory, or do you work with somebody?
No, I have a partnership with Guillermo Pena. He's the owner of La Silla factory where I made my cigar. What I have is my team of rollers that works at the factory, and obviously all the fermentation process, all the wrapper, and all the filler and binder that I buy for my cigars are handled by my team that works at that factory. But the factory is not mine. It's Las Lias Cigars. It's from Guillermo Pena.
So now let me ask you this. So do a lot of boutique companies, and Joey's sitting here, a lot of boutique companies say, oh, I got my own factory, I own my own factory, blah, blah, blah. Then when you talk to the person, another person in the boutique world, they're like, oh yeah, I use this factory. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, so you use so-and-so? Oh no, this is the owner of the factory. So, I mean, like, do you guys lease out certain times that you can put your cigars out,
I
or?
think what you're getting at is, what you're trying to say is, do you, being that you have a partnership with the factory, do you lease space in the factory for your rollers?
No,
Or are
I
they employed by that
basically have the freedom because he is like my brother. He was 25-year master roller in Cuba before getting out of Cuba, and nobody better than him is the best person to drive a factory because he knows from top to bottom of the construction of the cigar where the problem could be or how to improve the people, the rollers, right? Because he's a master roller. What I do with him is my team that rolls actually my cigars. I'm able to pay them straight, and I have deals with him regarding the space that I rent for the fermentation process of my tobacco.
Okay. You got another question for him?
Actually, I did. I thought about it while I was talking. So, I know you have the 4x60, the 6x60. What's your preferred size that you make and your favorite wrapper to work with?
I mean, you're regarding on my personal taste, or because when you say the favorite rapper to work, it's a different question. For example, the favorite rapper to work is going to be the rapper that gives you more like elasticity. That the rotors don't break too much leaf because that leaf is very elastic. So you might have a favorite rapper because that rapper it's a good quality tasting, but at the same time it has some stretchability that make the rollers to make a prettier job without losing too much wrapper. That's a question there. But if you ask me my personal taste, if I what wrappers I like most for me to smoke, one of my favorites is Connecticut broadleaf. Um, the other one is San Andres from Mexico. I love
Oh,
those two
San Andres
wrappers
is
a lot.
great.
And the Brazilian Corojo that we use, the Corojo cigar.
So that's the one that you use on the Alisson Corojo, is the Brazilian Corojo.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That wrapper
So
is a Corojo 99 planted in Brazil. And
let me ask you this.
my cousin, we're farming tobacco for BAT for 25 years in Venezuela, mainly Burlington and Virginia's, which is, for cigarette purposes. But we have a different farm, different location only for black tobacco because I used to have two small factories of cigars in Venezuela just for the local supply. That was the
So
way before.
let me ask you this. What is your favorite cigar out of your line?
It's a hard question because I'm a mood smoker. Depends on the mood that I like to try. I like to smoke some certain cigars at different time frames of the day. For example, early morning after an espresso, I love to smoke the Palomino. But if you say like I have to choose only one, it's hard. I might get the San Andres, the Castaño, San Andres, because I was inspired by Padron. I love Padron cigars, and it's like a rock and roll band, right? When you start creating your songs, you're influenced by the oldest famous rock and rollers. So it's kind of I was influenced by their quality, their consistency, and Jorge is such a nice person. And I blend that cigar, that reminds me a lot of the Padron 64, with all the respect and distance that I'm not trying to say that my cigar tastes like them.
Right,
Our
right.
cigar has a personal taste, with all the respect. But that cigar really influenced me when I was making that blend, because I love that combination of Mexico and Nicaragua to build up those flavors. And I just love that cigar.
So now, are you teaming up with any? Because I know a lot of boutique companies are teaming up with like whiskey companies, beer
So what you're
companies,
trying to ask
and
is
that. Are
any
you
any
teaming up
collaborations?
any collaborations with any
Yes.
whiskey beer companies?
Right now, I have a project with Ron Roble Viejo, which is a very high upscale quality rum from Venezuela. Venezuela has
Okay.
gold medals, rum winning across the world. The rum quality in Venezuela is very, very high. And I'm making a project with them, doing a blend especially for them, but it's going to have the Stallone name on it with a secondary band that says Ron Roble. And we're putting some
Yeah, it's
very
kind of
nice
like
old bottles
it's kind of
with
like the
cigars
black.
and cutters and boombox.
So it's going to be made basically like Drew Estate did the black and the pair with the whiskey. You're
Something
blending the
like that.
cigar to pair with that.
Exactly. And I have
Okay.
another
So now,
project with fine wine from Italy.
wow.
Well,
They are
I gotta say,
they
Ish
reach out
gave
to
us
me.
some fine wine
Vineyard.
from his vineyard, along with his cigars when we met him on
So
January 7th. And let me tell you, I compared that with the cigars I smoked.
so
Oh
now
my gracious!
let me ask you this. Besides that project you have with the whiskey, making that cigar to pair with the whiskey or the espresso, uh, I guess drink or whatever. Um, is there any projects coming out besides that you have in the pipeline? Like I know you did uh the exclusive for OGT for their that came out. Is there anything else that people can expect for you to release, maybe in a regular line, or any more exclusives coming out with different places or anything like that?
Yeah, I made a lot of cigars for different brands. For example, I made the Rodeo Clown for the Cigar Clown, which is a marvelous blend that I put together for them. And many, with the OT, we have a lot of projects as well. But regarding the brands, Stallone, we're about to release by the end of the year a new collection
It's almost
that is
time.
going to be named the War Horse series, that is based on all the historic important horses of the history. So we're gonna have a very nice luxury bottle of 10 cigars with the name of that particular horse that is famous in the history, and we're gonna release every 5 months a new historic horse. So it's gonna be a total of six
Okay.
different cigars released every 5 months.
So every 5 months you're gonna release a new cigar in that line. It's not gonna be 6 new cigars each time.
No, it's gonna be one type of cigar each time, and this is a
Okay.
very limited production. It's only 300 boxes. Uh, and then I come up with a different horse of the history, personalities, different personalities
Right.
across the world, and that's gonna be all played in a different concept. And but all the cigars are gonna be under the War Horse series collection. That is only a one time, and that's
So
because I don't want to put there out there thousands of blends competing against my own, blends. And number two, I'm doing that very limited release because those tobaccos that I use for those blends are very, very special. They're being aged in rum casks for 7 years.
Wow.
Strong ligeros. And some of the tobaccos that I've blended, there are 5 years age. And they're in the sweet spot right now to, for that particular blends. And the cigars are being aged over a year. So I have, the first 3 cigars are already made. The one that is going to be released at the end of the year is going to have 14, 15 months after roll.
Holy guacamole! So what horse made you? What horse are you betting on from Kentucky right now that you're gonna name your cigar after?
That's an interesting question. I have in my plan for the future to release a different collection only based on Kentucky horses, on derbies, derby champions. But that's going to be released in 2026.
Okay. So what I will say is, if when you start dropping your Warhorse series, if you want to come back on,
just hit me up.
Let me know you have a spot. We'll make the.
Sure.
I mean, if you can do it live and you can explain to everybody watching live, that's great. If not, that's understandable.
We'll do the same thing. We'll record it.
Well,
sure.
It's always good to do stuff like that.
I'm gonna make my guy to schedule up to remind me, when the cigars are like 1 month before releasing, to reach out to you guys.
So
absolutely.
What
is we can set up the date and lock it in this way.
What is his name?
Sure.
What is his name? Because he hits me up. He goes, Mr. Dave. I said, just call me Dave. What is his name?
Of my assistant, Mike.
Yeah. What is it?
Mike.
Because he always goes, Mr. Dave, Mr. Dave. I said, just call me Dave. I said, my dad was Mr., not me. Just call me Dave.
I mean, he's a very kind of well-educated, young man, and I always, encourage him to answer the people the most formal way possible.
Well, listen, Mr. Barrios, I take my hat off to you, my brother.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for the swag. Shout out to Stallone Cigars. Hold on.
Thank you, guys. I'm very honored
shout out,
to be here
shout
with
out
you
to
guys.
Tony Barrios. I got an autograph ashtray. So if y'all ain't got that, I don't know what to tell you. You gotta know what you're doing.
I'm definitely looking forward to smoking this.
What's that?
The Mustang. I'm looking.
Whoa! Time out, Coach.
Well,
there's only one. There's only one Mustang.
I'll smoke this one.
I only got one Mustang. I want to try that first.
So smoke it. Here you go.
I don't want to smoke it right now.
It's got to sit because your humidor was a little messed up for some reason.
So, Tony, thank you for coming on, my brother. I appreciate it, and you're more than welcome. You want to hit us up when you got some new releases coming out, or you just want to hit us up and say, hey, I want to come back on and have a good time.
I was going to say, if you want to come back on, it doesn't even have to do with releases. You just let us know. We'll make sure we move things around, or even if we have to record it again, we can just drop it anytime during the week. Before this goes up, I'll give you guys a head.
You guys have my personal contact, my phone, right?
You might have it.
I have the personal email.
You might have the phone number.
No, I
do. It's
no, I only have the personal email. He didn't give me the phone number.
I think he sent it to you in an email.
No, he only sent me the personal.
If not, I'm gonna text you my number, so you can reach out to me anytime. The Power family.
All right. So what we'll do after this?
I'm very humble.
I'll have Joey reach out to you through the email, through Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod.
Well, you have it in your email as well.
What, the personal phone number?
Yeah, it's got it. I'm 90% sure it's in. I've seen it in an email when I was doing it.
All right. So, guys, today has been another fun day Sunday with Mr. Tony Barrios, the owner, and my man. Got my cigar here. I got my autographed ashtray, got my shirt, got the hat, got the cutter, the lighter, the keychain, and anything else he sent us. Make sure y'all find Stallone Cigars. You can find them in Fanatics.
No, they're not there anymore.
Oh, he's not there anymore?
No.
Oh, well, Kenny, I think you messed up. But anyway, shout out to Stallone Cigars. Tony, thank you for taking the time on a Sunday. Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Anytime you want to come back on, please let us know.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me and all the people watching. You know, I love you all, guys, and thank you so much for helping keeping my job.
And we love you too, my brother.
We love you guys. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support